should a company have or take a political stance when it sees something right or wrong happening there and put its hand up and say, this is not what we stand for and what's happening right now is not right, at the cost of a losing customers online? And it has happened in India where, we've got the food delivery guys coming in. And again, on religious grounds, some customers may refuse taking food from a different religion. And then that company went online and said, we don't tolerate this. But the customers got them down saying, we'll delete the app. We've got Hinduism as the biggest. And then you've got the biggest minority in the country is Muslims, which is second only to Indonesia in terms of the number of people. So at these times, the company would wonder, should I stand for what I believe is true? But that would mean investors might pull out, or the shareholders might say, we don't want to work with this company.
Yeah, I think you've got to be really careful. These examples that you've just used are really, really difficult. I think the first thing to say is what you do is more important than what you say. I think you need to put in place human rights protections for your employees. So the first thing you want to do as a company is ensure that you're not putting people at physical risk. Like if you're putting your Muslim delivery people at physical danger, then you need to be thinking about that. Secondly, I think you need to be very, very careful about making public statements that might make the problem worse. One of the things people feel very upset about is corporations getting into the political realm and taking on problems that they shouldn't take on. But I think what you can do is put in place measures to protect your employees, measures to protect your stakeholders. Thinking about whether to make a public statement, I think, is much, much more difficult. I think you are best placed, if you're going to make a public statement, it should be something that your business impacts. So if you're an oil and gas company, you don't necessarily want to run a Save the Woodchucks campaign. You want to be focused on climate change and the impact of your operations on local communities. So take on problems your business actually affects and can actually solve. Try to protect the human rights of your stakeholders and workforce to the best degree that you can. There was an example in 2020 of the expenses software company Expensify sent a letter to its 10,000 clients saying, vote Joe Biden. I think that's really dangerous. A corporation is not a government. A corporation is not running a democracy. That's not the same thing as saying a corporation has nothing to do with politics. I think you want to make sure that the positions you're taking and then the politicians that you're funding are not contradicting each other.